and/or Flaherty at this point?
A little bit on both. We'll start with Reyes. Reyes he's in Pensacola at the moment. He's at Andrews Institute. Yep, he is getting a therapeutic injection, and we'll be back on Friday. And at that point, we'll have a plan as to what his return looks like. Regarding Flaherty, we did the imaging. They are all weighing in at the moment, and we're hoping that by end of day we have an actual idea of where he stands. But once they weigh in, I'll have more on that.
He's got an injection in the shoulder.
That's correct, yes. Well, he's getting it later on today.
Right.
Yeah.
You said a therapeutic injection. Is that a PRP to stimulate healing, or is that an inflammation to attack?
Great question. That's why I went with therapeutic, because I'm not sure which one it was.
Just want to make sure.
Yes, but he is getting a shot by Andrew's team today.
Obvious question, how much does this set those guys back, and you're in a condensed camp?
Yeah, it definitely isn't ideal. We'll know more on Reyes' return when he gets back on Friday as far as what his plan looks like, and then hopefully once everyone's done weighing in today, we'll have an idea of what the imaging looks like for Flaherty. So by today we should have a pretty good idea on Jack.
Sounds like both guys were hurting since last season, but you guys couldn't lay hands on them, you couldn't talk to them for 99 days. Is this just kind of a fallout from that?
Yeah, that's the part of what we were going through with the lockout, not being able to kind of understand where everybody's at. Now that we know, we'll put a plan together, but not much more we can do.
Each of those guys trained also. I mean, they had setups because their agents would set up things, or they have personal trainers. What's the difference? Is it because they didn't know how much to push? Because they couldn't talk to you? What was missing from being unable to talk to you?
No, I appreciate that question. I don't think it has anything to do with they didn't know how much to push or not. Once they got going, there was some lingering pain there, and they kind of tailored it accordingly, shut it down, and tried to get ramped up again, and it just didn't feel right. So smart move to not try to push through it, actually.
I guess that's what I mean. Like they have to adopt a conservative approach until they can talk to you guys. Is that essentially
that's basically it, yeah. And now that we're able to lay eyes on them and get them with our team docs, we'll figure out what's really going on and what that plan looks like.
When you guys met with them on the Zoom and put together plans with them, did you guys talk about like contingency plans? Like, hey, if you don't feel right, stop until we can talk? Did you go that far?
Kind of goes unsaid.
Okay.
As far as here's your plan, if there's any setbacks or anything doesn't feel like it should, like don't plow through it. As far as, hey, here's a plan B if stuff starts to hurt, no.
Okay.
But that kind of goes unsaid.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah, no doubt.
Jack at least said that he had felt a little bit like immediately after the end of the season. So when you had those end of year meetings with him, was that a thing that you were aware of, I guess, going into the lockout in the 1st of December?
Yeah, definitely aware of it. And there is a plan for rest, and then a build-up and a progression to getting here. He's a smart dude, knows his body really well, and once he started to experience it, he shut it down. So I'm glad he did what he did, because now it gives us a chance to actually have a shot at getting him back.
So you were aware of both of them having some issues when they came. There wasn't something they found in the initial exam down here.
Say that again?
You were aware they both had some discomfort in their shoulders coming into camp. It wasn't something that you found in the initial.
Once they arrived at camp day one, yes, that's when we found out.
Before they actually had the physical.
Well, the day of, correct.
Well, like we talked about the other day, you got a lot of arms in camp, a lot of right-handers. Is this where that depth, now those guys may have a shot that they wouldn't have had before?
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody has to step up. We have no idea how long either one will be. Hopefully it's not too long, but this gives those guys an opportunity to step up and win a job for sure.
How about your absent players, Molina and Gallegos? What's their?
To my understanding, Gallegos is scheduled to arrive on the 17th. Is that tomorrow, I believe? And then on Yachty, we're still waiting to hear kind of how he's doing and what that timetable looks like, but I don't have any new information there.
For personal reasons,
both of them for personal reasons, correct? Yeah, but we're expecting Gio, I believe, tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Able to talk to Yachty and just get an understanding of how he's feeling or doing?
No, to my understanding, it was personal. I wanted to give him some space. We're talking about one of the most competitive humans on earth, so if he's not here, it's for a reason, and I want to make sure I'm sensitive to that and give him the space, and when he's ready, we'll be ready. Yeah.
Ollie, you mentioned competitiveness. For a guy like Jack, who dealt with some injuries last year and now kind of coming into camp this year, isn't ready to be raring to go with his teammates. What do you sense the frustration is just about that from a competitive standpoint for a guy like Jack?
Yeah, obviously he's going to be frustrated. But there's still a lot of value to what he brings to that clubhouse. And even in our meeting today, he was able to add to what we're doing on the field today and speak up and give the guys some direction. So super competitive. He's frustrated. He'd like to be ready to go today, but he's in the right frame of mind as far as still adding value to what we're doing daily.
What reports are you getting on Dakota Hudson? All the guys talked about what a relentless worker he is. What reports are you getting on him?
He's a pro's pro. If you were to build a player, it'd be with that type of makeup. He just has a really good routine. He sticks to it. He's confident in who he is. Just goes about it the right way. When you talk about the preparation, dedication, and then post BP, whatever the case may be, he knows what he needs to do in order to be ready. I'm excited about his year. I'm very excited.
I guess on a positive scheduling note, Matz has the only live today. Does that line him up maybe for Sunday in Port St. Lucie?
I think that's what he's shooting for. I'll look closer. I can, as soon as we're done here, actually confirm that. But I think that's how it lines up, yeah.
Adam, Friday?
I believe Adam will be our opening day here against Houston. Yeah.
Just tapping there's too much in that sentence. You can just say, I believe Adam will be our opening day. Like he just
He wants you to write 2 stories.
Here against Houston.
I'm just suggesting.
No, I hear you.
Just tapping into that depth. Woodford. What have you seen from him so far? And then Drew. Curious what you.
Yeah, a ton of growth with Woody. This is a guy we've had in our org for a while now, and we've just been able to see him develop and mature in a lot of areas. Not only his pitch arsenal, but his overall demeanor and confidence. And he just carries himself differently today than he did a year ago, and that's going to help him. He's way more competitive. He's experienced some failure. He's been kicked around a little bit, and now he's ready to take the ball and do something for us. So I'm excited to see what Woody can do and kind of lay eyes on Drew and see what he brings to the table. Was able to see the live the other day, had some good action on stuff. So it'll be competitive. It'll be fun.
And Oviedo's in that mix, I presume?
Absolutely.
What do you look forward to seeing in Oviedo and his development?
Growth. This is a guy that has a very high ceiling. I think that's obvious to anybody that has watched him pitch. He has the ability to do some pretty neat things. That has to be coupled with competitiveness and a little bit of confidence, and that's we're waiting to see it. We are excited about what Ovi can do, and it's on him to take that next step and deliver.
Confidence is currency.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't seen Matz for a while. What were your impressions before, and how have you heard that he's improved since he pitched for the Mets?
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while, and just seeing him throw, it'll be exciting to see his live today. In the bullpen, the ball comes out better than I thought. There's some life to that, and he's a bigger, lankier dude than I remember. It gets on you. Seeing that live today will be exciting.
Well, you said you've decided your pitchers for the first 2 days. Have you decided your DHs yet? Have you thought about how you're going to attack that or start?
No, not yet. That's actually something I'll do today, sit down and map out the next week of kind of the lineups and giving guys rest, and we'll sit down with each guy and see what their plan is. But no, not yet. Yeah.
Ollie, the other day in the press conference, I asked how many guys you might want to starters on the team. Yeah. He said that was a conversation with Fanatics. Do you have a number? I know that things have changed.
Not a number. We actually had a pretty good discussion with the larger group today as to how we would attack that, and I don't have a final number to say we're going to break here with 7, but I'll say there's a decent amount in that mix.
Okay. Yeah, you'd like to break with more than a rotation of guys able to throw 80.
Yeah.
Is that fair
That'd
to
be
say?
Nice. That'd be fair to say.
That's a little different than most seasons. Because usually that number 6 guy be in Memphis.
Correct.
But that number 6 guy might be with you.
Yeah, and I don't know about 80, but definitely stretched out.
Okay.
Yeah. It's tough to... It'd be tough to stretch out that many guys before we break here.
So you beat me to my next question.
Yeah.
I was going to ask how you're going to.
Yeah. So 80 would be tough to stretch out that many guys, but definitely stretch out some guys beyond just being a 1-2 inning guy. Okay. If that makes sense.
It does.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of a shadow rotation, for lack of a better description.
I like it. Point it.
Do you?
Did you get any feedback on Jordan Hicks's bullpen yesterday? How he recovered?
Well, and I was able to see a little bit of it and enjoyed watching it. He's the guy we discussed this morning as far as how we would use him, and it'll be interesting because there's a couple different ways you can use Hicksy, and no matter how you script it, there's value in however you could. I mean, there's 2-3 different ways you can use him, and each one will add value to this team. Now it's a matter of what's the best way to put him in there and keep him healthy for 162 games, and that's what we'll try to figure out.
One of the ways is multiple innings, but he really hasn't done much before, right?
Yeah, that's spot on. Yeah, and it's figuring out what that schedule will look like if he's throwing multiple innings, right? So that's what we're gonna weigh.
Is
Will he face
closer or
hitters
not?
next time?
I'm
Will he face
no.
hitters? Okay.
Not his next time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he'll
Next
throw
time
another
he'll be-
side,
Okay.
and then we'll get him in alive.
Great.
Yep.
You're talking about Hicks in different roles. Is closer an option, or is that Gallegos' job right now? And how would you describe it?
Yeah, that's a great question. Early for it, but I would say I view that a little different. I'm not sure I would describe anybody as our closer. I think there's opportunities to win ball games in the 7th. There's opportunities to win it in the 8th, and we're going to do a good job of game planning specific to the lineup. So to say Gio's our closer or to say Hicks is our closer today would be unfair. Yeah.
With the condensed spring training, if everything goes properly with Flaherty, are you still optimistic that they can break camp, or do you take a slower approach and say, let's just kind of remove that?
Good question. I would say hard for me to say with Jack until Adam and his team give me an update today. I would say with Ray, as you're looking at that being really tough for him to break camp with the team. That'd be pushing it.
Would you consider taking a starter who may not be all the way stretched out, letting him kind of get stretched out, work 3 innings in his first start in
No doubt
regular
about it.
season game?
I'd be comfortable with that.
A little more general, I got a chance to talk to Bader yesterday. Obviously, so much focus has been on the lockout. But when you think back to 2 years ago, pre-COVID, you got a different landscape in baseball. So the chance to go back to Busch Stadium opening weekend and play in front of a full crowd. Obviously, the baseball player in you's got to be super pumped to get back to some normalcy this season.
I mean, it's an understatement. I'm really looking forward to that. You can't beat opening day at Busch. Just the thought of it when they lifted the lockout gives you chills of having that place just packed out, all the Hall of Famers there. It's a different beast, and I enjoy it. Yeah.
Did they give you a ballpark on how long it'll take for Reyes to be able to throw after he gets the injections?
Not completely. So on Friday, once he gets this, we're sitting down with Reyes and planning that out. So I don't have like hey, it's going to be 3 weeks or 4 weeks. On Friday, I will have that though. Yeah.
One more bullpen question about Hennessy comes into town and does that yesterday.
Yeah, he's been throwing lives for the last several weeks. He's ready. We'll actually see a little bit of him on that Friday game. He's one that came in already throwing a decent amount, so that part makes it easy. But it's nice to see that arm again. Yeah.
Thank you, Alan. Appreciate it.
Thank you.